Good morning, good morning, good morning. It is Saturday, people. Welcome to the start of the day. Welcome to the morning. Welcome to the walk. Welcome, welcome, welcome. You're welcome. Thank you for being here. I am grateful. It's another blessed day, people. Let's get up, let's walk. Let's walk with intention, with determination. Let's walk with purpose. Let's keep moving towards the threshold of our goal, people. Let's keep moving towards our intended destination, our desired location. Let's keep walking in a way to a place where we want to be. Today is October the 11th. Am I right, people? Let me check. It is Saturday, October the 11th, year 2025, and I'm coming to you from the East Coast of the United States. People, fall is upon us. Leaves are changing. The morning air is getting cool. I'm out here on this walk. Let's keep doing this. Thank you again for being here, guys. Thank you again for the purposeful delivery. Today, we're going to have a talk this morning. And we're going to talk about how your progress, how your growth doesn't have to be a fight. It doesn't have to be something you hate. It doesn't have to be the way many people suggest. Your growth does not mean that you have to do things you don't want to do. You don't have to do things that you don't desire, that you don't enjoy. You don't have to do it. But for wherever you want to go, you have to do whatever is necessary to get there. The reason that's important is because knowing your destination makes the things that you do to get to that destination not so cumbersome. As always, guys, as you check in, drop in. Where you're checking in from, what time of day it is where you are. It's a wonderful Saturday morning here in Maryland. Thank you guys again for being here. Let's have a great morning. Let's have a great day. Let's have a great talk. As we head up to the top of the hill, things are growing, guys. Changes are being made. Growth is happening. It's happening for those who believe. And that is, I'm gonna go Sabhani. Are you a child, Sabani? Those are just letters. Gotcha. Is your cat on your keyboard? Good morning, Shabani. People, we're at the top of the hill. Y'all know what we do when we get up here. We take a look around. I am real. This is not AI. I have way too many imperfections to be AI. So thank you for stopping in, guys. This is not pre-recorded as well. I am actually live here this morning. I'm at the top of the hill. Let's take a look around, people. Today is October the 11th. If you're watching this right now and it's October the 11th, Saturday morning here on the East Coast of the United States, and it is now 5:11 a.m., I am live. If you are watching a recorded version of this at some point in the future, then I'm not live. Good morning. Hey guys, say good morning to my wife right there. My beautiful wife, my life, my purpose. That's my queen. You guys get an opportunity to say good morning to her. And also make sure you stop past our family page. Take a look at what we do over on the Baby Birds, how we live our life, our day-to-day. our interactions and growth with one another, people. Please take the opportunity to stop in and do that. It would be great. This morning, we're talking about the difference between being forced or being condemned to a condition versus being relieved and being open to the possibilities for your life. So many of us do things because we feel like we have to. We feel like, oh, well, whatever choice do I have? Oh, I hate doing this. I hate doing this. And I can tell you that from experience because I've been there. I've been through experiences where I've said to myself, I hate this. I don't want to do this. This isn't something I want to do. But just because something isn't something that you don't want to do doesn't mean it has to be something that you hate. That was a lesson I had to learn. In the experience of growth and development, you start to figure out some of the things you don't want to do aren't as bad as you think they are. Only because either one of two things are happening. One, you don't realize where you're going and how minuscule the things that you're doing right now are to arriving at that destination. Or two, you just don't value the work. You don't value the growth, the development, and the achievements of the work you do. Once we start to align these things appropriately, that all changes. Swiggy, good morning. And Ava, thank you so much for being here, Ava. Why is someone trailing you? I'm giving out good information. People try to pick it up as I go. People stay on it, Swiggy. How are you doing this morning? Thank you for being here this morning. Thank you all for being here this morning. Again, it is Saturday morning. I am here on the East Coast of the United States in Maryland. It is 5:14 in the morning, people. October the 11th. If you are here today and it is October the 11th, you're catching this live. If you're watching this replay at some point in the future, hopefully I'm still alive, but you may not be in the first run of this content. Thank you guys, however, for being here. So this morning, we're going to work with purpose and intention. We're going to continue to grow. I need to let the people out there know. I need you guys to know and to understand. When it's time for you to take steps and to go places in your life, don't look at the things that are in front of you as things that you have to hate. So many times getting to where we want to go, we forget where are you? Oh, where I live? United States, Baltimore, Maryland. Thanks for asking. Not Baltimore, Maryland, just Maryland. Used to live in Baltimore, Maryland. So, guys, here's the thing. When you start taking these steps and you start doing things in your life, you start making achievements, you start looking towards specific goals, expectations that you have. When you start doing this, your journey has whatever is on the path of it. When you make a plan, you understand these steps that you're taking are along that path. Because you know that you have a plan and you have discipline, while you take those steps, you're going to be growing, then you don't have to hate any of those steps. You don't have to look at any of those steps as being pain or disdain or regret. You get to look at those steps as what they are. They are just steps. They are part of the journey that you're on. It is when we don't know what our destination is, we don't have a plan, and everything that we do is just the setup to do that same thing again the next day, it becomes far more difficult to go into our day with an outlook of positivity and growth and development and love. Ronaldo, favorite spicy food? I don't know, we gotta talk about that. Do you use food for sandwiches? What else would there be? Nobody said, who are you stalking tonight? Man, I'm stalking destiny, first thing in the morning. So guys, when we talk about this growth, when we talk about this development, and we talk about where we want to go with our lives, the focus on how we want to see ourselves in the future, when we have these focuses, the important thing to understand is that everything that needs to be done needs to be done. It has to be done, right? Because the alternative is waiting for someone else to do it for us, waiting for someone else to give it to us, waiting for someone else to provide us with the out. You don't have to do that. Stop giving up your success, your ability, your drive. Stop giving that away to other people because you don't like where you're at right now or what you're doing right now. You can't pass that off to someone else. When you understand that where you're at right now and what you're doing right now is working on you more than it is working on that thing, it gives you a phenomenal opportunity to take control of your growth and direction. Who is this? All right, Vince. Why to Walmart? Nobody. Welcome everyone. Please like, share, subscribe, activate the notification bell. Thank you very much, nobody, for being in there, dropping that information. Yeah. or as, what does the name say? Vince Mar. As Vince Mar said, you can look at me, you can look for me at your local Walmart, drunk, beating people. Is that every Friday night, Vince Mar? Is that every Friday night? So guys, here's what we're talking about. Here's what I'm sharing this morning. So often people believe that success requires a struggle. Thank you for checking in from Canada, Lucas. Thank you for being here this morning. So many of us believe that in order for us to achieve something, in order for us to make it somewhere, in order for us to be able to say, hey, I'm prepared to grow, or hey, I'm going to put in the hard work, or I'm gonna do what needs to be done. There's this belief that it needs to be painful, that it needs to suck. You gotta do something you don't wanna do. This is what got people, this is what got people involved with Diddy. This is what got people involved with Epstein. This is the mindset that leads you to believing that you have to in some way compromise or sell yourself out in order to be able to achieve something. That's not how life works. That's not how this works. That's not how any of this works. That's one of my favorite commercials, guys. Just so you know. Me and my wife love that commercial. I don't know what the product was for, but I do know the commercial was funny. So, what are we learning this morning? What are we sharing this morning? That we have within us the ability to write our own path, set our own course, set our own expectations of where we will be, how we will grow, and what we'll do to get there. Because we have that ability, because we have that strength, because we have the aptitude and the capability of doing that, we need to understand the things we choose to do are not condemnations, they're not sentences, they're not punishment. They're simply the things we do to get where we're going. When you take over control of your activities and you take over control of your behavior and your mindsets, you change your future. This is important because this is B&V Finance Fixers. And right now, everyone is looking at their finances, they're looking at their money, they're looking at their investments, their current life, their future, their current status, and they're asking questions about, how do I change this? How do I make it better? What do I need to buy today? What do I need to do right now to fix the years of work that I didn't do? It's because you believe that in order for you to achieve, you have to compromise yourself in some way, that you don't do the things necessary in order for you to achieve. Everything you do pays into your future. Stop assuming that you can do nothing, or you can do poorly, or you can underperform for years, and then in crunch time, well, what can I do to fix all of these things now? Nothing. You can't do anything to fix all these things now. But you can fix what's going to be in the future. You can fix what's coming up. You can make some adjustments to improve your situation and not find yourself in this condition again. But it takes discipline. It's not about doing things you don't want to do. It's about doing the things you have to do, believing that you're capable of achieving those things, and then setting your mind towards it and taking those steps. Don't ask me about what stocks you should buy. Don't ask me about which crypto you should have. Don't ask me about any of those things, because they all require the same thing in order for them to be beneficial. That's discipline. This isn't about you just throwing $10,000 at something one time and all of a sudden your life is fixed. We have to understand discipline. Discipline has 4 pillars, people. Starts with repetition, that goes with patience, so you can practice and learn the skills and tools necessary. Then you work with consistency. It is impossible to be consistent at anything to which you have not learned how to do. If you don't have the skill or the talent, you can't be consistent at it. If you haven't learned to use the tools, you can't be consistent at it. Which is why we teach children in school and we work through repetition. Circle, square, diamond, rectangle, triangle, whatever else is there. We teach them shapes, colors, and patterns, because our numbers and letters are in shapes and patterns. So you learn letters. When you put those letters together, you make words. When you put those words together, you're better able to communicate. These are the things that require the work to do. How are you going to hate doing the things that are putting you in a position to be more powerful? See, it's easy as a child to hate the things that you have to do because you don't have enough sense to be able to see where it's going to put you at in the future. But once you become aware that you are living in a space where you control the outcome of your life, doing the things that you have to do to get there are no longer things you hate. There are things you understand. You get to appreciate them because you understand the work that you put into those things are being paid into your future. People hate their jobs because the only thing in the future for them out of their jobs is a paycheck. And because they lack the discipline to appropriately manage those funds, they hate their job. I hate working here. Yes, because you don't know what to do with what you get from working here. You're not working here. You're not building anything on yourself from working here. You're not learning anything about yourself, your capabilities, your skill set, your ability. When you work for a good company, the good companies develop their people. Because the better their people are, the better their products and services are, the better their business are. We must take into our own control the things that we control, our ability to dominate. Here on BNV Finance Fixers, you're going to find the answer to these questions. Not just the answers into how you make money, not just the answers into how you grow, not just the answers into how you develop, not just those simple answers into what stocks to buy and what's a 401k, but you're going to get the answers to drive you, to drive your development, to build you as a person, to make you stronger. So when you develop this discipline, I don't care if you're working on your finances. I don't care if you're working on your faith or your fitness. When you develop this discipline, these things stop becoming challenges. They stop becoming challenges, and they're just things that you do along the way. And no, not every one of them are going to become, not every one of them is going to be something that you're going to be like, I can't wait to do this. I've explained to you guys before, even as a personal fitness trainer, over the years, I have not been a big fan of running, but I know the value of it. I know the benefit of what it does for me. And so it's not a matter of doing something I hate. It's a matter of doing the things that help me grow because they help me grow. All right, guys, we want to look at, see, we got some comments in here. Looks like it says, Izzy, too deep for you, move on. What did Izzy say? Let me see. Eternal says, what it means to not have a girlfriend or ex at 21. I don't know if you're still there, Eternal. Let me know if you're still there. We can try to touch that topic. What's the cap guy yapping about? He should eat some fried chicken instead of yapping. Okay. All right. And then we got Corp. I guess that's Corp. Oh, so it's too deep for you. You should check out. Miller says, point me to where the other traders are. This isn't about trading. Billy says, you giving me, okay, got you. You guys had me read a couple of those. Mike, let's go, Mike. Here's the thing, guys. I went back to read some of those comments. Probably should have spent a little bit more time just talking. And maybe I should just stay on the yapping and stop reading this nonsense in the comments. But don't worry, guys, the channel's growing. For those of you who are interested in actually hearing the content and understanding the development and the growth, we're going to be able to open up a space. As we move towards monetization, we'll have a space where we can weed out those who are simply here to hate. We can weed out the ones who don't understand or can't connect with the development and the growth that we need to see. Because when our focus is on development and growth, we understand that our time is valuable. We understand that the work, as I said before, the work that we do helps us to grow. And the challenges that are before us are there because we've sought them out. In order for you to have any true challenges in life, you have to be trying to get somewhere. And once you're trying to get somewhere, it gives you the opportunity to create for yourself the space for you to grow, to set your own challenges, to set your own destination, your own marks, and work towards it. So is that Barry? Barry, this morning we're talking about the same thing as always. We're talking about positivity, growth, discipline. But most of all, what we're talking about this morning is understanding that when you want to grow and you want to achieve something, we have to stop assuming that it requires for us to struggle or to have pain or for it to have to suffer in order to achieve it. That's a misconception that so many people have, because when we're really trying to get somewhere, the things that are necessary for us to get there are just the things that are necessary for us to do. Other people are prepared to compromise themselves and subject themselves to things that they would otherwise not do because they don't understand that they're in control of the direction they're going. They always assume or believe someone else is in control, and thus they have to follow that lead. They have to follow that direction. They have to follow that information. And the inability to think on their own limits their development. And that's what we have to understand. It's not about pain. It's not about suffering. It's about commitment. It's about working towards your goal. That's what we're talking about, Barry. Yes, sir, Barry. Thank you very much. Who is this? Knowledge. Thank you very much. Then how do we do it? That's the question, Barry. How do you do it if you don't struggle? So the way you do it instead of struggling, Barry, is give me an example. Just let me know what anything it is you're trying to do. Just give me a idea of what it is you're trying to do, Barry. And I'll explain to you and I'll share with you what it means to not struggle. Because struggle and suffering is perception-based unless it's actual struggle, unless it's actual punishment, right? What do we have? It's all about love, right? It starts with loving yourself. It starts with loving your destination, loving your journey, loving your growth. Barry, let me know what it is we're working towards. And then we can talk exactly about the specifics on how we do it without struggling. Jesus in the Bible is truth. Thank you for stopping in, Tammy. Thank you for your comment and for sharing. Because in order for us to really understand what it means to not struggle, I'm going to be honest with you, we need to talk about some specifics for people. We need to start talking about the specifics on what we're trying to achieve, what we're done, and what we need to do to get to where we want to be. So said engagement something. Gary, struggling and juggling. So Gary says, Jesus is the way, the truth, and the life. Thank you for your testimony this morning. And let me see. Daniels. Thank you very much for the scroll and double tap, Daniels. Here's the thing. Here's how I can explain it without getting a response directly on what it is that's trying to be accomplished. Here's what I mean when I say it doesn't have to be a struggle. Anything that you want to do to get anywhere, to achieve anything, has a requirement that you do the things necessary to achieve it. That's it. Bottom line. I don't care. If you want to clap, you got to put your two hands together. You got to use some force and you're going to clap. You want to stand up? Babies, you got to learn how to stand up. Your life doesn't suck. You're not struggling. You're growing. You're doing what's necessary to get to where you want to go. When you don't have anywhere to go, when you don't have any destination, when you don't have a purpose or a why to your life, everything is a struggle because you're not going anywhere. And when we're not going anywhere and we're staying in the same place, then everything that we do doesn't really have a purpose, doesn't really have a value, doesn't lead to anything. That lack of value or purpose is what makes it a struggle, because the struggle is to how do I define it? How do I justify it? Gary says it's nighttime in New Zealand. Welcome in from New Zealand. Speak up for our struggles. These people who think are better, but we see the light more. I'm not sure what you mean, Tammy. 10:30 p.m. in New Zealand. It is 5:35 a.m. here on the East Coast of the United States. We need people like you elected. Thank you, Tammy. All right. Gary said, amen. Haroon, bruh. I'm in Maryland, bruh. Where you at? Good morning, Sam. Thank you for loving the channel, Sam. Thank all you guys for being here this morning. Thank you for participating. I think it's important, guys. The channel's focus is on developing fixes for our finances. That's our investments, not only in how we finance or we use our money in our life, but also how we finance our energy, our behaviors, and our actions, and investing in ourselves, and investing in our own growth, right? And investing what we do as best as we possibly can, and understanding it's going into our future. Canada, Toronto, welcome in, Kappa. So when we talk about these things, when we have these conversations, when we have this outlook, when I come out here in the morning and I have these walk-in talks, I have these walk-in talks because I believe in not only my own potential, but the potential of others to grow, and to grow based on your own control, your own drive, your own dedication to your goal. When you understand that the work that you do is going towards something, it's not a struggle. You learn to enjoy it. You learn to appreciate it. This is why people go to the gym. People who aren't even on like a fitness kick, or they aren't like trying to break some world record on bench press, they go to the gym because when they do the workout, there's an achievement at the end of this set. There is the completion of this round of work, and it rewards the system, it rewards the body. I don't care how heavy the weight is. It's a challenge, but it's not a struggle. See, going to the gym starts to become a struggle when you lose in yourself the purpose, the understanding, and the reason for why you're going to the gym. And now everything else becomes important. Everything else, because it's very easy for humans to fall into a cycle, for us human beings to fall into a cycle of comfort. What makes me comfortable? What makes me feel good? What do I want to watch? What do I want to listen to? What do I want to do to enjoy myself? Doesn't lead to my growth, doesn't lead to my development, but it's comfortable for me. Those things can lead us to putting down the work that is building us and fall into a space where anything outside of just placid relaxation becomes a struggle. I think money is sin. Tammy says, I think money is sin, but it's just we all work hard for our family and friends and more, and charity for the kids and babies and elders and wiser people. I'm gonna touch on that, Tammy, don't go anywhere. It says, come to Jesus, OGs. Minneapolis, thank you for stopping in. Who's that, E Smooth? Kappa, and that Black Sosa, thank you. Thank you very much, Tammy. Kappa. Guys, I want to share something with you. Tammy, you just said you believe that money is evil. Money is a concept. This is the first thing that we have to understand, because like you said, we're going out here and we're working. We're exchanging our time for the concept of, if I exchange my time, you will give me something that I can give to somebody else to provide for my family the things I want my family to have. We existed on this planet for many years without currency. It was a barter system. We existed on this planet for many years when all you did was be alive. Like, that was existence. Like, existence was, hey, kill it or you're not gonna be here next week. You know, kill it and eat it or you're not gonna be here. We had to learn, grow it, cover yourself. Like, we lived on this planet for years without money. Money is a concept. So it's the belief in the concept that allows for things to grow. A house only costs what it costs because there are enough people who believe they're willing to give that much for it. It's the only reason a house costs what it costs. If you say this house costs a certain amount of money and there are not enough people who are willing to exchange their time for currency to acquire that property in that condition, then it's not worth that much. Money isn't evil. The love of money is evil. If you believe that your purpose on this planet is to make money, now you're falling into a space of evil. And I'm saying this as a person who understands the benefit of investing, the benefit of growing, the great value in being able to create for generations to come prosperity, growth, and the ability to grow and focus on things beyond what I had to focus on. What do you think the generations before us did? We don't have to go out anymore and kill bears to make jackets. We don't spend an entire season like the animals foraging to store up food. That's how salt became currency. Because when all you do is work from one season to the next season to survive the next season, salt was what was used to preserve. Salt became so valuable because people who weren't in places where there was salt was like, wait, I can use this and have this food. I can kill this animal, salt it, and eat it all winter. This has value. While everyone else's food is rotting, or they have to bury it out in the cold, and then some other animal or some other clan or whatever comes along and steals it and devours it, you're able to maintain it. That's how salt became currency, because it created value. It gave things longevity. So when I talk to you and I say that money itself is not evil, when we start loving money, imagine a person who decided to say they was gonna love salt. Man, I love salt. I'm gonna get as much salt as I possibly can. And then they were like, yo, you know there's other places to get salt. All of a sudden, the value of your salt fell. This is important because we have to understand, in order for us to achieve anything, in order for us to get to any of the places that we're saying we're going or that are destined for us and that God has in our future, in order for us to do that, we have to get up and do the work. The work necessary to get there is simply the work necessary to get there. It's not struggle. It's not a burden. It's not a punishment. It's just what's required to get there. Babies get sick of being laid on the floor. They learn how to walk. Yeah, it's hard, but guess what? You got cookies and you're not giving me any. I'm gonna figure this walking thing out because I want cookies. There's a purpose, there's a goal, there's something to work towards. When did we lose our purpose, our why? The reason for living, not just being alive. See, this is why we walk around, this is why so many people walk around like, what's the meaning of life? What's the purpose of life? It's living. Even if that's what you're doing, is trying to figure out what the purpose of life is, you're living while you're doing the process. You're having conversations, you're asking questions, you're devoting time to your faith, you're engaging and developing relationships with others. That doesn't make it a burden, that doesn't make it a struggle, that doesn't make it a punishment. It makes it what you have to do in order to get to where you're going. That's what that is. Thank you very much for the sub. And what's going on with you, Dolly? Thank you very much. What is that? Recall Freight Tom? Gary said, I give you $10 for a house. Right. Now, you don't, listen, Gary. You're the only one that offered me money for my house. Somebody else gonna offer me 12? That's what I'm talking about, Gary. It's only worth that much. Thank you, VSOP. Thank you for dropping in from Oklahoma. Nick, Bismarcky, what you doing out here, son? The purpose of life. See, accepting Jesus as your Lord and Savior, here's the thing, and I'm with you. That, hey, I'm a born again Christian, child of God, and I pray, and my dedication to my faith is immense. My walk with Christ is very, very close. It's very personal. It's very intimate because it's my commitment, right? The whole reason for the death of Jesus was to give me this intimacy and this connection with God, where I no longer have to go through a priest. I no longer have to go through Levites. I no longer have to go through blood offerings. I can just kneel down and pray and be in God's presence. Here's the thing. We have to understand, when we accept God and we accept Jesus as our Lord and Savior, that God put us here. He put Adam here and was like, dude, do your thing. Go forth. Be fruitful, multiply, name everything, live it up. If God was here before anything was here, if this is your belief and this is your understanding, God was here before anything was here. God was here before the concept of currency was here. God was here before these borders that we draw on the planet and call nations and states and counties were here. God surpasses all of that. What we're doing here, here's the thing. What we're doing here on this planet, is just enjoying the journey. That's all we're doing. Man, you can live for Christ. You can let your light shine. Just had a conversation the other day with someone, Gary. They're on here, we're talking, and they're saying, man, the world's getting worse. Life is hard. Everything is a struggle. And then he's like, I'm a Christian. And I'm like, the whole purpose of being a Christian is to shine the light of Christ everywhere you go. That's your whole purpose. If you believe and you're saying out of your mouth that the world is getting worse, you're doing the opposite of what your faith tells you to do. You're to bring light to the dark corners of the planet. That's your purpose. If you're living with the understanding that when I leave here, I'm going to heaven, right? You know that you're going to heaven, and then why? Why, if you know you're going to heaven, would you lament anything that happens on this earth? I'll put it to you like this. For everybody who has a job and gets paid on Friday, don't you look forward to payday? So many people live paycheck to paycheck. When it gets close to your birthday, don't you look forward to your birthday? As parents, when it gets close to your children's birthday, don't you look forward to experiencing that birthday and seeing the smiles on the face and the joy that it brings to their life? We all get excited by that. If that excites us, and as a born-again child of God, as a Christian, you know that heaven is in your future, why would you lament anything that happens here? This experience is all about the enjoyment. It's all about the growth. It's all about the development. It's all about what we invest in our time here on this planet, in this carnal form, and actually live. Not just be alive. Are we up and are we living? Are we showing our dedication and our growth and our focus on living? This is nothing, dude. This is so temporary. Do you understand the human mind does not have the ability to conceptualize or accept utopia, perfection? It's when you talk about looking at the world today and you say, hey, what's great about the world? And these are taught behaviors. And we ask ourselves, and this is why I'm having this talk, this is why it's called what it's called today, is that the belief that in order for us to achieve something, that we have to suffer, that all growth comes through suffering. That comes from the belief or the vision that things are bad. Oh man, you gotta suffer if you want to succeed. You don't have to suffer, you just have to do the work that's necessary in order to get to where it is you're going. We have to understand part of living is actually living. Live when you go to work. Smile, enjoy the experience, be a part of it. And I'm not one of these people who are like, 100 years from now, nobody's going to remember you. I'm not buying into that. That's not my reason for saying go out, live life and enjoy it. My reason for saying go out, live life and enjoy it is because you can. It's because you can. We have to start living. Even as Christians, we have to start living. How is somebody supposed to see our light as Christians if we only go around other Christians? Our whole job, what Jesus did, is went into communities where God wasn't. He went to the places where God wasn't, and he spread the light. We can't do that if we only go where we are as Christians. You want to spread God's light? Go out and live. Go out and live. They'll see it. They'll see it in you. They'll see it through you. This is important because when we stop, if we stand around and we're like, oh my, it's so, woe is me, it's so bad. And then somebody else is out there and they're like, dude, wait a minute, you're a Christian, you saved, and you still feel that way? You still feel defeated? You still have complaints? You still have concerns? I ain't gotta go to the hood. I ain't gotta go to the hood. I've been in the hood. It's not about the belief. It's not about the belief, Tammy. It's about living it. And I understand what you're saying when you say believe what you believe. It's about living it. It is when we follow the scriptures and we follow God's word. God did not put us here to suffer. God put us in Eden. God put Adam and Eve in Eden. Sin came into the world and created the suffering. If you found your way back to God, then you should be seeking Eden. You should be living Eden. Go out, be fruitful and multiply. Subdue the earth. See, there's this misconception that I had for many years that developing myself to a certain degree was evil, was bad. That if I wanted to make more, and I'm talking about this kept me locked down for years. My interest to make more of my situation made me a bad person. My intent to grow and become stronger and do more and provide more made me a bad person. Because, oh, you're not happy with what you got? So how many of us growing up heard, hey, be grateful. There are people out there who have less than you. There are people out there who don't have a toilet, who don't have food to eat, who don't have a roof over their head. Be grateful for what you have. How many of you have heard it? How many of you lived it? How many of you hold that to be true? That, hey, the whole reason for you to be grateful is because there's people in the world who don't have as much as you have. And you need to be grateful because you're not in that position. You need to be grateful because you're above that position. You need to be grateful because you're not doing as bad as they are. Is that the mindset that we have? Is that the mindset that you carry in the way you live? Because if it's okay for me to be grateful for being better than someone who's poor, or be grateful because I have it better off than someone who's poor, then that means someone who's richer than me can look down on me and feel the same way. How do we love looking down and hate looking up? Everybody who's doing worse than us, we're like, ah, man, I'm glad I'm not there. Everybody who's doing better than us, oh man, I wouldn't want to be there. Really? Really, I'm just happy where I'm at. I'm letting you know this doesn't have anything to do with finances. This has to do with living your life. It is not about being where you are and being happy. Listen, gratitude is not tolerance. Gratitude is not an expression of exchange and value-based comparisons. Gratitude is sincerity. Gratitude is when somebody brings you $1, you are as grateful for that $1 as you would be if they brought you 10. Gratitude is when you go to work and you get your paycheck, you are as grateful and you are as committed to managing that money as you are when you made $7 an hour and when you make $70 an hour. Don't really have a take on Hinduism. Thanks for the question. Here's what I'm trying to say. Gratitude's not a comparison. We've been taught for years, oh my God, I lived in it for so long. I lived in it for so long where it was okay for me to look down on people who were doing worse than I was doing and use that for me to be happy with where I was. And then at the same time, look up at people who had more than me and were being told, don't look at them, they're bad people. You don't want to be like them. Well, the people who are below me are thinking the same thing. Hungry kids in Africa. I'm not in Africa. Like, I don't understand what you're asking of me. See, we haven't expressed gratitude in a way where it's actually gratitude. You don't love God in comparison to how someone else loves God. You don't worship Christ in comparison to how someone else worships Christ. That relationship is intimate. It is an intimate relationship. You don't compare how other people pray. Bible specifically tells you, do not go out and pray using big words so everybody can say, oh, look how good he prays. You don't go out in the church every Sunday. Same sister, she got brand new dance moves. Oh, no. Music come on, she done danced across the whole church. You out here putting this show on so everybody can say, Sister Betty got the Holy Spirit. Sister Betty preaching, Sister Betty speaks in tongues. Man, a relationship with Christ is intimate. A relationship with your faith is intimacy. What we do have to bring into the world is who we are. We can't keep secluding ourselves from the world. We can't keep stepping back and saying, no. I'm a private person. I don't really say much. Can't nobody see God living through you? See, we got to go out there and we have to start living. I'm telling you, when you talk about fixing your finances, you can't fix your finances. You can't work towards your future. You can't look at growth and development. You can't look at developing and doing any of these things until you look at your mindset. So I lost my dad at the beginning of the year, my stepfather. Passed away at the beginning of the year. Part of the reason behind me starting this YouTube channel. My dad worked for years, was in the Army Reserves, left the Army, had a HVAC certification, worked in HVAC for years, started his own business, went to work for the state of North Carolina, did not take vacation days. State of North Carolina does not take away any vacation days. I need you to stay with me. I'm sharing something with you. State of North Carolina does not take away vacation days. Him and my mother started a church down in North Carolina. They had a couple of different locations, went back to seminary school, got a master's degree in theology, right? He's doing all of these things. He's working, he doesn't take sick days. He found out he had cancer because he used the sick day. When I'm telling you, everybody was like, wait, you've been here for 20 some years, you've never called out sick. And he says, man, I have to call out the day. I just can't make it in. And he went to the hospital and they started running tests and ultimately found out that he had cancer. Here's the thing, guys. Here's what I'm trying to tell you. It's not about money. It's not. But when I tell you that at the time he passed, he was still an employee of the state of North Carolina, and he was using vacation time that he had built up over the years. When I tell you he literally worked until he died. No, I'm not making money. I'm not looking to make money because I want to be so big and so great. But guess what? I don't want my mama to have to work till she die. I'm not counting on the state or the country or this company's 401k to ensure that my freaking mom doesn't die broke. See, it's not about the love of money. It's about understanding that if you're trying to get somewhere, there's work to do. And it doesn't have to be suffering. And it's not suffering when you know it's going towards something. When you know that the work that you're doing is going towards something. This is why I mentioned the birthdays and the holidays. When there's something great to look forward to, you don't feel bad about the work you do. You don't feel bad about the money you spend because you understand the value of those people and you understand what you're trying to convey to them. Recently returned to my job after a leave of absence. During this leave, my young daughter pretty much spent every minute of every day with me. Now when I get up and I go out the house, my little 3-year-old daughter says to me, when I come home, She'd say, Daddy, you leave me. She looked me in my face and say, Daddy, you leave me. A 3-year-old daughter don't care about money. A 3-year-old daughter don't care about, she has no understanding, no concept of money. She doesn't have concept of toys. They're just things. It doesn't matter. She wants a toy because somebody else has a toy. But she knows mama and daddy. She knows her brothers and sisters. Those things, when they leave, not somebody else takes them away, just when she wakes up and they're gone, it pains her. You got to know the value of what you do and why you do it. It's not a struggle anymore. I have a bigger struggle walking away from my baby than I do the work I have to do at my job, because I know what it's doing. And I get to come home to my baby girl. And they jump in my arms and they're excited to see me. And they can't wait to tell daddy about their day. I come home to my wife, who expresses the same love and gratitude and joy. See, that work that you do is rewarded with that life that you are living with those people. It's a struggle because if you've lost purpose, if you have no meaning, if you have nothing to invest in, if the things that you have outside of what you do mean nothing to you, then the things that you do have no real value. And so of course it's a struggle. Of course it's pain, but it doesn't have to be that way. Can't worry about fixing your finances if you can't fix your faith. You can't worry about it. If you can't fix the way you travel throughout the world, the way you live, the way you see your experience, if you can't lead yourself, you're not going to be able to lead your family. You're not going to be able to lead your finances. We have to stop believing that success is equal to distress. Success is not synonymous with pain. It's synonymous with investment. And the payoff is the process of getting there. You have to stay committed. You have to do the work. You got to put in the time. You know why we buy into sports and into movies and to all of these stories about overcoming? Is because we watch in a microcosm. We watch in time as people grow and go through challenges and ultimately overcome. When you do that, when you understand that that process takes time, there's an emotional tie to it. You're tied to it the whole time. Be tied to it while you're doing it. Enjoy it while you're doing it. Invest in it while you're doing it. Gary says, I live in a country with no guns. Tammy says the same thing. That's beautiful. That's wonderful. I live in a country full of guns. Still living. I'm out here walking. It's 6 a.m., 6:05 in the morning. Blessed. See, when we understand that we're doing work and we're going towards something, it becomes so much easier. Good morning. To do that work without complaint. It becomes so much easier. I don't care how difficult it is. I don't care how strenuous it is. I don't care how many other people don't want to do it. When we understand that what we're doing is leading to something valuable for us, it's not a problem to do. It's not. That whole thing, remember, I'm old. Some of y'all might only know about this as in stories. Remember when men used to work outside the house and women would stay home and they'd care for the children, they'd take care of the house, they'd fix dinner. when the man came home and he'd sit down and they'd eat and they'd enjoy a meal and he'd play with the kids and she'd be happy watching her man take care of their 2.5 children and a dog. And then life was beautiful. Oh, it was beautiful. And then somebody said, hey, that's not real. We need to show some difficulty and some challenges. The world doesn't live like that. That's a fairy tale. We can't accept life being that good. We need some hardship. We need some turmoil. I'm old enough to remember when they started adding gangsters and slick back hair hooligans to television shows because we had to show life's not that easy. That's not real life. There was a time when you could appreciate the simple things. Just be happy being happy. Oh no, we got to take that away from you. Don't be happy. There's too much going on. The world is going to crap. Be afraid. Woo! Be very afraid. Stops people from living. Stops people from growing. It stops us from understanding that the work we're doing is for us, not to hide away from the rest of the world, but to live and experience. Being alive and living are not the same thing. There are a lot of people who are alive who are not living. Start living. Living is being invested in the experience that is happening in that time. Go to your job and you do what's necessary to not get fired. You're not living. You don't like nothing about your job. You spend so much time at the job, now you ain't got no connection with your family. You ain't got no connection with your wife. You ain't got no connection with your husband. You go further apart. Now you spend all your time hating being apart and hating being together. It's not living. Of course life feels like a burden because when you get those opportunities to enjoy the experience that is happening, to live in the moment of the challenge, knowing that this is just the part of the journey. This is just the part of getting to where I'm going. You take control of it. When you're living, that moment is that moment. When you're alive, that moment is your life. Never goes away. Never stop worrying about bills. Never stop worrying about troubles. Never stop worrying about anything. And you don't stop worrying because we're constantly living in a place where we believe that it's our job and it's our responsibility to be concerned versus living. A lot of faith. Gotta have faith. What's the purpose of fear? Purpose of fear was to make spears. Listen, look. I live in a country where there's a lot of guns, and I'm adamant that guns are not defensive weapons. You cannot use a gun to protect yourself. Gun is an offensive weapon. Bulletproof vest, the shield, defensive weapon. You ain't shooting no bullets out the sky with a gun. When you pull out your gun, you are going on offense. Now, as they say in some sports, the best defense is a good offense. Hey, I agree with you. But let's accept that when you pull a gun out, you're going on offense. Dude, life has to be lived on the offensive. You can't constantly be trying to not let bad things happen. I have to prevent this from happening. The easiest way to prevent one thing from happening is to make something else happen. I'm old. I'm old enough to remember, I keep saying this, I'm old enough to remember they had to teach people how to use anti-lock braking systems. Had to teach them. You know why? Because when you stomp on your brakes and your wheels lock up, no matter which way you turn them, the car is not going to go anywhere. The tires are just going to slide because they don't have any traction or momentum to pull them away from where they're headed. Anti-lock braking system has a very simple phrase: stop, stay, steer. 3 S's. You stomp on the brake, both feet. You keep your feet on the brake. And then you steer to avoid the things that are about to happen. Because the brakes themselves will start to piston back and forth, which is how you were originally told to avoid an accident. You had to tap your brake repeatedly. You're supposed to boop, 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 with your foot. Anti-lock braking systems change that. Stop, stay, steer. Why am I sharing that with you? Because the best way to avoid an accident is to be moving, to be controlling your direction. Not to stomp and just get fearful and just let what happened gonna happen. The best way to avoid it is to stay moving. It's to stay in motion. We need to realize this. We need to be able to face this. We need to be able to put this into practical use in our life so we stop living in fear and we understand we can't go around trying to make things not happen. We need to go around making things happen. That's why I'm telling you, success does not require distress. It does not require suffering. It simply requires for you to do what you need to do to get what you want to get. Tammy, you got the statues? See no evil, hear no evil, speak no evil. How the monkeys living though? I ain't seen nothing. I ain't said nothing. I don't know nothing. You ain't seen nothing, you ain't said nothing, you don't know nothing. You know that's the gangster motto, right? That's when you get picked up on that RICO indictment in the United States and they take you into that investigation room. Yeah, man, like, see no evil, speak no evil, hear no evil, see no evil, hear no evil, speak no evil. Yeah, I don't know nothing. I ain't seen nothing, I ain't heard nothing, I don't know nothing. Listen, this process of growing and understanding the work that we do is the work that needs to be done. Not because someone else says it needs to be done. It's simply the work that needs to be done. It's simply the things we do to get to where we're going. Guys, success does not require distress. Success does require that we invest in ourselves, our behaviors, our actions, understanding that what we put in will determine what we get out. Thank you for being here. Hey guys, if you haven't done so yet, take a moment, double tap the screen, hit the like button wherever it is. It goes a long way. I appreciate it. Thank you. My name's Oluropo. We're here on BNV Finance Fixers. You can see more about my life on the page my wife manages. It's called The Baby Birds, birds spelt with a Y. The interesting thing is that I spent a lot of time away from my family with the belief that if I provided more currency, it would provide a better household. If I'm able to, like, I can pay to make certain things go away. The money doesn't make you happy. However, a dishwasher changes things. Come on, man. Like, listen, let's not act like money might not make you happy, but it can provide some conveniences. Listen, a garage door opener in the Northeast United States in the winter, a remote car starter. Come on, listen, I'm not saying to go out here. It ain't money, but there's some comforts, there's some things that money can acquire. Here's what I'm trying to say. Here's what I'm saying, guys. I was under the belief that if I just put more money in the house, I can make the house better. And I was neglecting the fact that there still needed to be me in the house. And so I worked so hard till there was none of me left to bring home. I had to figure that part out. I had to understand that I'm working for the purpose of living. I'm not alive just to be working, right? So once we start understanding that, once I started understanding that, I knew the work that I do, regardless of what it is, has to be designed for me to get back to my family. It wasn't about how much money I made. It was about how long it took for me to make the money. It was that simple. I don't care. Like, listen, okay, you make $100,000 a year, make $300,000 a year, $400,000 a year. If you are trading your life with your family for the time that it takes to acquire the money, yeah, that's why people are unhappy. That's why people walk away from jobs. I had a job, I made $250,000 a year and I just wasn't happy. No, you weren't, because you weren't living. I'm not trying to tell you how to get money. I'm not trying to tell you anything. I'm trying to share with you that the understanding that the work that we do to live the life that we're living isn't a burden. It's just a part of living. Enjoy it. Enjoy it. Who we got here, guys? Kendall, thank you. Hearing that from a man, super cool. I appreciate that. Okay says, just got here. What's the work you do? I've worked in a lot of different areas before. My primary work is coaching and development. Crazy said, yep, seen men lose their family because never home, never home. Money in the house, house huge, you ain't there. You lose your family. You lose your family. Now you gotta take care of your family and their new daddy. Come on, man. I ain't taking care of nobody else's dad. I ain't taking care of nobody else's boy. I ain't taking care of you and your boyfriend. I'm not doing it. Listen, people. We have to learn to enjoy this life, to live it. It's a phenomenal thing. Guys, BNV Finance Fixers, we are right on the cusp of becoming monetized. We're right on the edge of being able to offer to you direct conversations, not only about the behaviors and the actions that we take that help us to live this life versus just being alive, but also for us to be able to go into a space where we can provide the sharing and the knowledge and the information directly and specifically on how to do it, how to move the money, how to use the money, how to understand living is about your future and your purpose is about what you leave behind, not what you take with you. And learn how to shape that so that every generation of your family, the legacy that you're building will definitely live on for years to come. The reason for that is because when you invest into the future, when you understand the work that you're doing today will impact the future of your family and their growth, it becomes so much more meaningful. It goes far beyond sending the kids to college. It goes far beyond retiring, not in debt. And you can do it and enjoy life in the process. Remember, discipline's got 4 pillars, guys. Discipline has repetition that you couple with patience. You use that to develop and learn skills and tool sets. And then you're gonna have consistency, which is where you create a plan and you start growing. And you end it off, guys, with perseverance. That's what happens to you. That's what shapes you so you can be who you wanna be when you see what it is you wanna see. Tony said, college is a scam. Be real, bruh. We'll talk about it, Tony. We'll talk about it. Here's the thing. I'm gonna share this with you real quick, Tony. I'm gonna share this with you real quick. School is for the purposes to learn how to learn. College is where you express and understand that you understand that ability, right? School, somewhere around middle school, and here in the United States, you can technically graduate with an 8th grade education. If you know If you can read and comprehend and do algebra, you could test out of high school here in the United States with a diploma, and then you can head straight to college. So what you do in school is you learn how to learn. You learn patterns, you learn numbers. I said this before, you learn shapes, and then you know how to put those together to make larger numbers and words and sentences so you can read, comprehend. Then you go from reading and comprehending. Everything you do from that point on uses that information as the basis. And now you just want to say, hey, because I know how to read and comprehend, and because I know how to perform basic arithmetic, I know my order of operations, everything else, all I need is the opportunity to work on it, and I can learn it. That's what you learn in school. You learn how to learn. Stop worrying about the curriculum. Care about the history. I remember, I'm not going to say I remember zero about what I was taught in history class, but I don't remember much, and I definitely don't use it for my job. Stop worrying about the curriculum. Worry about the skill. That's what you're getting out of school. You're learning how to learn. The sooner you learn how to learn, the sooner you empower yourself to learn how to do what you want to do. This is the basis of it, guys. This is what we're working with. This is what we are building. This is where we're growing. 3:50 p.m. It is 6:23 a.m. here on the East Coast. Cusham, thanks for being here. Kendall, 3:23 a.m. Welcome. When's the last time you used algebra after school, folks? I use it all the time because I cook. We have 7 children. And if a serving says that I need this much of something in order to make 8 servings, I have to use algebra to figure out how much of this something do I need in order to make 9 servings, or how many do I need to make 18 because everybody eats a lot. So algebra is useful. And algebra, main thing about algebra is problem solving. Algebra really isn't about being able to do the work. It's about figuring out what work needs to be done. That is an issue for a lot of us. A lot of people suffer with, hey, I know how to do the work. I just don't know what needs to be done or when it needs to be done. That's what algebra teaches you. Okay, so you just woke up. You didn't sleep yet? No, I've been up for a while. Was that Motebla from South Africa? Welcome in. All right, guys, I want to, A squared plus B squared equals C squared. C equals, I can't see you, can you working out, what's that, that's the Pythagorean theorem? Or is that how you find the hypotenuse of a triangle? Something like that. Thank you for dropping it in there though, Kendall. Welcome in Germany, thank you. So everybody, I want to appreciate you being here this morning. Hey, listen, people, do not let trolls and haters distract you. They often cause us to miss out on things. So let them get what they have in them off, and then they'll leave. Right? So I do appreciate everyone for being here. I appreciate the investment. I appreciate all of the time that you spent and shared with me this morning. Again, please like, subscribe, share, take a look at the channel. As we become monetized, we'll have more direct opportunities to work with you on not only building this discipline that's necessary, but also being able to learn where to take the tangible actions and investments to see this happen in your real life. Guys, as always, keep showing up, keep blowing up, keep growing up. Until next time, guys, take care, enjoy your weekend, and God bless.